and welcome. We are talking about purchasing approvals today, and we have a question. And so the question that someone posted on one of my other videos is that they have an item they do not want to keep stock of, but they cannot get it to show up in approvals unless they're putting a min stock on it. And I understand where you're going with the min stock. I think that this is a intuitive workaround. Unfortunately, as you have already seen, it doesn't work because then if you put it in as a min stock, you're not buying directly to the job. You're actually going to be buying for inventory. So what we're going to do today is troubleshoot what I would do if I found there was an item that wasn't showing in purchasing approvals. Here's all the things that I would check to try and get that into purchasing approvals. The example is computers. So I have some computers sitting here on a project. And of course, they should be in purchasing approvals. When you go to purchasing approvals, everything that is on a job that has not been approved should be in purchasing approvals if you have purchasing approvals turned on for your whole company. If it's not here, here's how I would troubleshoot it. So I would go to the job that had my products that I'm looking for on it. I would go to the product tab. And the very first thing I would check is to see if the products had already been approved. This happens sometimes, so you may have approved it in the past or someone else might have approved it, and then it won't be in purchasing approvals. If that's the case, this approved will be checked off. So you're going to want to make sure you can see this approved column, and that's going to be under the little customize view list. If it's in a hidden column, you'll move it from the hidden column to the visible column. And when you add something to your visible columns, it's going to be all the way on the far right. So anytime you add a new column, it's going to show up there. I like to drag these columns around so I can see them a little better and have them organized the way I like them. If your product has already been approved, there's no way to get it back into purchasing approvals. I don't know how to unapprove something. If you do know how to unapprove something, from this screen, not from the purchasing screen, please let me know. So that's kind of step one. Step two, I would check to make sure that this product hadn't already been purchased. And how I would do this is by looking at the PO info column. This PO info column shows you all of the purchase order info for that product within your job. And you can see this PO info column from your project, your sales order, and your service ticket. It's a really useful column to have. I can see that this hasn't been purchased, so that's not going to be the case either. Next step, I would make sure that the items hadn't already been picked or shipped. So I would select the items that I want, and I'm going to go ahead and unpick those items. So I'll select the items, go into actions, look at the drop down, and I'm going to unpick products. This is just confirming what I want to do, and I'll hit OK. If you get an error message when you unpick a product, drop it in the chat, drop it below as to what error message you get because there might be something wrong with the actual product. You shouldn't get any error message and it should be unpicked. With those three things being done, they should be in purchasing approvals. We'll go back to purchasing approvals and check to see if they're there, which in my case, they already were, but what can you do? If you want to be able to just purchase something and you can't get it into purchasing approvals no matter what, it's really, driving you crazy, you can also mark an item as special order. And what I mean by that is when we look at purchasing approvals and I look at computers, even though I do actually have some computers on hand, and we'll put the product ID in the right place. Even though I actually do have some computers on hand, it's still showing up in my purchasing approvals. I'm still going to be able to see those to order them. However, once I approve these, I won't see them in the purchasing screen, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I go actions, approve products, and go to purchasing, they're not going to be here because I have too many on hand of these products and I don't need to purchase any, so they won't show up in purchasing. My last ditch effort that I would recommend that you do is to mark those computers as special order. And so if you've tried everything I've already, put out in this video, click on the computer from the project that you're on. Mark it as special order by in the purchasing tab here. Your layout might be a bit different than mine, but look for that purchasing module. Hit special order, save and close. This is saying ignore the on-hand inventory. I don't care if there's on-hand inventory of this. You have to buy it no matter what. When I go back to that purchasing screen and hit search again, that computer is going to be here. So that's what I would do if you really just can't get it into purchasing approvals, you can't get it into purchasing, you've tried everything else, mark it as special order and it will come through in your purchasing as long as it hasn't already been purchased, picked, or shipped. Good luck, and if you still have issues, let me know. We'll troubleshoot from there.